Well, my main motivation was, it all began from working on press assignment, from assignment which you get to be assigned when I was still freelancing at the independent newspapers, the Cape Argus, the Cape Times. So every time we would get to be sent like early morning to protest. And every time for me that became like one constant report. But for me, I felt like there's maybe more to this protest we always get to report about. And not only that, but for me, I felt like for most of the time we hear it, the frustrations and the angers. It all comes from the township, from this bad side that we never got to hear about or to know what is it like for the people who are living there. So for me, I felt like I needed to come with an alternative kind of reportage. You know, something different from like the cliche news reporting about the townships, the social ills that we see in the townships. So for me, it was like to find out what are the biggest main issues that people always point out when they do this protest. And I figured that it's not only sanitation, but sanitation became like the one big concern for people in the margins. And I figured out it's not only sanitation, but it's also in terms of the housing, how people are living. And with this body of work, I wanted to show the ordinary lives of the people that we never get to hear about their lives, you know. So yeah, I felt like I needed to bring out the other side that we never get to hear or see of them. And the people that I got to encounter on these assignments, a lot of the time, some would respond in a negative way, not wanting me to access their privacy. And in some way, I would convince them that I'm there on their behalf to talk about issues that are not easily accessible to the widestream news. So for me, I felt I had to push it to make it to where the body of work is right now.
What I appreciated of the work is that it is laced clearly with a determination to render visible, to make legible what is the lived reality for far too many people in this city and in this country. But it also does it with a certain measure, and I don't know whether I read this correctly, but it's on my reading of it, with a certain, it's not sentimental, right? And I think that there's something important about recognizing the craft and the artistry that goes into providing a beautifully, carefully crafted account of slivers of everyday life in incredibly difficult conditions of a wide range of people that I think you've succeeded in achieving here. And for me, this notion of sentimentality and unsentimentality goes to the heart of whether we are going to think in terms of liberal responses to these conditions, or whether we are going to be willing to dare ourselves to think radically. And the problem with sentimentality is that it reproduces what Cape Talk is so good at: marshalling the masses to do the food parcels, to do the blankets, but never to discuss or to contemplate redistribution. Right? And so the work, when you look across the pages of the book, has got a section that is about an archiving of what I would call a series of indignities that is hardwired into everyday life. Indignities around sanitation, indignities around the challenge of getting access to enough potable water, indignities around the dangers associated with navigating, hacking the electricity grid so that you can have some energy, so that your children can stay. And of course, indignities related to the profound problem of homelessness as it manifests, particularly in District 6.